Well, take us through trade as it's playing out and what sense you're making of the market movements this morning.
Well, local investors are still jittery. They look like they're anticipating the results that are yet to come out, especially from Equity and Cooperative Bank. Those have been delayed a bit in our perception, and I think investors are looking at those to make any decisions. We are still seeing a lot of foreign investors trading, especially on the blue chips, BAT, Equity, KCB, Safaricom. Generally, we are looking towards the debt market at the moment. There's a lot of excitement on that side, seeing that there's a lot of interest locally. But as for foreign investors, they are doing quite well on the market, although we are seeing low turnover because of the quiet local investor at the moment.
Blue chips, of course, have been stealing much of the spotlight, especially amongst these foreign investors because of the liquidity they boast. But at the same time, quite a few agricultural stocks have stepped into the spotlight as well, being spotted with potential for gains this week. What's your view on the agricultural space at the moment?
Well, I think we are recovering from the fact that after the post-election problems that we had because most of the agricultural stocks are actually tea and coffee, which are major exports. So I think the fact that they've recovered during the last 1 or 2 years is probably a reason for interest. But at the same time, we are still very reliant on rainfall. We are still very reliant on the weather. And so the fact that we are in a drought position at the moment is still hampering, having a proper and sustained outlook on agricultural stocks at the moment.
Hampering production, but when it comes to the tea companies in particular, traders have been saying that we could possibly see a rise in share prices here on account of the drought in many areas, because being the biggest exporter of black tea globally, a drop in production may mean an increase in auction prices. What's your outlook and your view on that front?
True that, yeah. Prices normally increase when there is a lower production of tea, and we have seen that there has been an increase of export, especially to Pakistan, where we had seen a slowdown during last year. And I think that this is speculative at the moment, but at the same time, we've seen most of these companies look towards the local market. They actually have introduced their own brands locally, and they've also started their own outlets. And so they've also gone into the retail market strongly, and this seems to be bringing in returns for these agricultural companies.
At the same time, we've got Indian tea companies trading at about, at PEs more than 2.5 times those in Kenya. So what's your take on the current valuations of the major players in this space, and where would you be buying?
Well, I wouldn't be very keen on talking about the agricultural sector because it's been very, very uncertain over the last 2 to 3 years. And most of these companies have been making losses. So unless on a speculative level, I would not like to put my finger on any of the companies at the moment.
Agri is a major revenue earner, of course, for the Kenyan economy. We've got many of the companies that have reported thus far reporting better second quarter results compared to the first quarter. Samuel, what is the economic outlook in your books for the second half of this year?
Well, we are looking at more positive growth. We've seen that a majority out of the 18 or so companies that have announced, about 14 are actually in the double figure to triple figure growth, of course with Samir having done some phenomenal growth. The thing is that with a 3% growth outlook generally, we do expect better results towards the end of the year. We are still worried about the horticultural sector, which will of course affect the agricultural sector. But basically, seeing that most of the listed companies, their either markets are either local or their markets are regional, and we haven't seen the global crisis hit regionally that hard. I think the government is also doing a lot to pump in money into the economy, and this might increase demand. We don't expect inflation to suffer that quickly. It normally suffers with a sort of lag. So basically, we do see that this could have a good effect on the companies towards the end of the year.